Welcome to Subramani. In one of my posts, when I had said financial literacy is very neglected in India, I got a feedback from Mr. AB, and he says this, very true Subra, but I have a different point which I would like to know your opinion. If everybody is literate, it becomes a situation like no one is literate. Some people make money in mutual fund or direct equity because some people lose that money. So there has to be a different set of people with a different level of literacy, only then the market would work. Suppose everybody knows company A shares are going up, nobody will sell, and for a sale to happen there has to be somebody who thinks that it will go up and somebody thinks it will go down. Isn't this the truth? So I had to, I don't reply to every mail which comes to me, but I had to reply to this. So here is my reply. First of all, so let us understand one thing. Just because everybody in the world is getting literate, does it mean you will not get literate? You say, oh, there is now no advantage because everybody in India is literate. Today I have an advantage of being literate because there are many people who are illiterate. So if I keep others illiterate, my advantage will be greater. This is wrong. The greater the literacy that we have, the better will be our economy. There is no doubt. The more the number of people who invest, the better will be the quality of investing people, right? Second, to assume that people will do what is right because they know, it is a completely wrong thing. People who smoke know that smoking is bad for health, but they continue to smoke. That is why shit companies like ITC make money, right? Now, ITC does not make money because people do not know that smoking is bad. In fact, many of the investors in ITC do not smoke, but they love funding the company which is there largely to spread cancer, right? So the government spends so much money on cancer treatment. Government gives free cancer treatment through or subsidized cancer treatment through people like Tata Memorial, and so many smokers. Does the government say, oh, because you knew that smoking was bad and you still smoked and you got throat cancer, we will not treat you? We don't say that, right? So having information does not mean people will react to that in the exactly same way. Secondly, when somebody assumes that everybody has perfect information, you are also assuming that everybody knows how to analyze that information perfectly. Exactly when Mr. Warren Buffett was saying that I am selling all airlines, Indigo was available at 870. Today it is available at 1670, very close to double of the price to which it had fallen. You can always argue that some other shares had also fallen, but yes, people who went against the logic of Mr. Buffett did make money. Very rare, but we also saw some others saying Indigo does not have pricing power. Indigo has proven that it does not have pricing power, but still with full capacity, maybe in 2021 or 2022, it will again be a share which is quoting at 2000 rupees, which was, or 1800 rupees, which was its previous peak. In fact, it was expected to touch much higher, but anyway, I am digressing. Their assumption is also that there will be no change of opinion. My view on Indigo today may be different from my view on Indigo tomorrow. I may have thought Indigo is a good buy at 900, and I may think Indigo is a great sell at 1900, right? So there will always be change of opinion based on my own view of what I think is going to happen in the world, right? And when the company needs money, it will come from the same set of people. Again, wrong, because new set of investors will come in and provide capital. Now suppose there is an 80-year-old man or an 82-year-old man who is holding shares, and that company comes out with a rights issue. This man might say, I'm not interested in this company because I don't have money to put. So let me just sell off some of the shares and put the money. So supply will come from him even though he is optimistic about it. But he may not have the cash flow and he may not feel justified. So let's say he has 5,000 shares. He may sell off 1,000 shares to pay for the rights. That is bound to bring supply into the market, right? Somebody who is optimistic can also sell. Similarly, I may sell some small number of shares to paint my house. I may sell a larger number of shares to buy a new house. I may sell shares to get my daughter married. Please understand, everybody does not always want portfolio maximization. Of course they want portfolio optimization, but when they have need for expenses, they will sell shares, right? So that will put money into the market. Again, the stupid myth of saying that when somebody makes money, the other person has to lose money. Completely wrong. If Mr. Azim Premji has say a net worth of 1,50,000 crores, does it mean somebody else lost 1,50,000 crores for Mr. Azim Premji to get it? It's as ridiculous as that. Wealth created has nothing to do with somebody else losing it. It's not even in F&O. It is not true, because somebody who has the ability to take risk is saying, I will keep the risk to myself. Give me the risk that you don't want to carry. So you don't want to carry some risk, so you give it to me and I charge a price for it, right? So you give the risk and the premium to me. So if a young guy who takes a term insurance at the age of 30 and dies at the age of 32, and say he's got a 2 crore claim and his family gets paid, it is absolutely ridiculous to say that the insurance company lost 2 crores for this family to get 2 crores. To get those 2 crores, fairly obviously the insurance company had collected premium worth 2.5 crores or 3 crores from a pool. The pool paid the premium, one guy got the claim. I am convinced that the pool would have paid at least 3 crores as a premium, and only 2 crores got paid out. That is why insurance companies are profitable. So please understand, don't have this conception that for you to earn money, somebody else has to lose money. That is step 1 in financial literacy. If you think so, you're wrong, right?